On today's 24/7 Sports Live show, we're going to talk about Shannon Sharpe going in on the NFL. We got some NBA news. Was the Golden Tate play a touchdown or not? And Tom Brady is still the man.
Player, an SOB, is what brought the NFL, the owners and its players together. And while some might be moved by the conscience of these NFL owners, it wasn't their conscience that moved them. It was the cash. Because, see, Skip, what we know about people with money, they don't like being told what to do. They don't like being bullied. You see, President Trump has bullied a lot of people. The very first thing that he uttered as he strolled down that escalator 2.5 years ago is that Mexico is sending us their worst, murderers, rapists, and drug dealers. That didn't shock the conscience of the NFL's owner. Him offending Gold Star families, nope. Him calling Rosie O'Donnell a pig. Him on the Access Hollywood talking about grabbing hoo-ha. That did not shock the very conscience of 7 NFL owners. Skipping light me a second to name those guys.
Come on, Shannon.
Daniel Snyder, the guys on your monitor. Jerry Jones, Mr. Bob Kraft, McNair, Houston Texans. Woody Johnson, Shad Khan. They gave $1 million for the inauguration of President Trump.
Wow.
And now they seem to be shocked. Every author that's written a book about President Trump, and they started writing books about him in the 1980s, they say he is exactly today as he was then. Sure. So that is all I want to say about him. Skip. Now what has happened, because what he said in Alabama, play into it, you know what happens in Alabama, Skip. There's something that's going on in America right now that's more valuable than Google and Apple stock. It's more valuable than gold and Bitcoin. It's called race. It's very valuable. And President Trump, he understands that. But Skip, now I'm unimpressed because this wasn't a protest. This was unity. So what are we showing solidarity against, Skip? We're showing solidarity because President Trump, he challenged the very men, wealthy men, billionaires, and he told them what you should do if someone protests, you should fire them. They don't like being told what to do, Skip. And then, Skip, he called the players that protested the anthem, he called them SOBs. Think about that now. He called them SOBs. That's what got the owners. That's what got the players to unite.
Right.
Is that the worst that he's ever said?
Nope.
Absolutely not. Never called Vladimir Putin a SOB. Never called Erdogan of Turkey an SOB. Even those men that walked down the streets in Charlottesville, Virginia, Skip, carrying the tiki lights, hollering what they were hollering, inciting violence. He never said SOB. As a matter of fact, Skip, he said there were some good people.
Sure did.
What has transpired, Skip, again? Because what were they uniting against? It's almost like they were uniting against Colin Kaepernick's right for free speech. That's not what Colin Kaepernick is talking about.
Nope.
It's almost like they're uniting against you trying to attack us. Because see what happened, Skip, when he was from the bully pulpit, when he was looking down upon everybody else, the owners never had a problem with that.
Nope.
It wasn't until he came for the NFL that their conscience was shocked.
Right.
How dare you tell us what we should do? You think you can tell us that we should fire somebody? Because remember, they said First Amendment. Here we are, 14 months after Colin Kaepernick originally kneeled. And when they asked him, he said, it's not about the flag, it's not about the veterans, it's not about the police. It's about the brutality that unarmed men and women of color are suffering. It's about the injustices. It's about the inequities that's going on in America. That's what he said. And still, we talk about the freedom of speech, and all these teams released these statements, said how divisive. Only the Seattle Seahawks touched on what the real issue was. And the problem that I have, Skip, is that these guys, some of them, and I'm very disappointed, and a few I'd like to say, I'm very disappointed in one of my very best friends, Ray Lewis. Ray Lewis sat in that chair right there and said that he could never kneel. He could never not stand for the national anthem.
He sure did.
So many people died, and he had family members to fight for this country, and the opportunity, and the flag means so much to him. And he kneeled. Not on one knee, on both knees. Okay. So what were you kneeling for? You kneeled, you showed solidarity because of what President Trump said? And when Colin Kaepernick is trying to draw attention to the injustices going on, you deem that inappropriate? LaShawn McCoy, you remember what you said about a month ago about Colin Kaepernick? Not only were you kneeling, you were stretching. You were even worse than kneeling.
Wow. Yo, first of all, I got to say a couple things. Number one, whatever church Shannon Sharpe want to start, or maybe he already got a church. That's a church that I would go to, because let me say something. This brother keeps it all the way real. He keeps it all the way real. If you were to ask me, and I have to make this embarrassing confession, but if you were to ask before this show started, before Skip and Shannon started, what kind of person Shannon Sharpe was, just from appearances, just from, the way that he talks, I would have said Shannon Sharpe just an old country boy. That's what I would have said. Little did I know, and this is an indictment on our beliefs, because some people who listen to this show, got a problem with how I talk or whatever. First of all, the people who got a problem with how I talk got a problem with people who look like me, period. Okay, first of all. And it's so hypocritical because, you buy hip hop. Okay? It is not the majority black people who buy hip hop. It is majority other people. Yet, when you have someone who talks with a little bit of swag, a little bit of slang or something like that, some people got a problem with that. I don't understand it. But please know that I can turn my swag on and off. I can turn my slang on and off whenever I feel like it. Just know that. I have a boardroom voice, and then I have my at-home voice. I'm talking to you right now in my at-home voice. But I would have thought, my own indictment, I would have thought Shannon Sharpe wasn't as intelligent as he is. And he has been consistently on point since he started this show. So my bad, Shannon, and I am now a fan. And I'm going to say something else, just to show you that I keep it all the way real on this show. Shout out to Fox Sports. I got to say it. Shout out to Fox Sports for allowing this man to be who he is. Fox is allowing him to be who he ain't dancing, he ain't sugarcoating, he has never tiptoed around a situation. And we all know that there are many networks who would not allow a dude like a Shannon Sharpe to be on their show. I cannot say the same for somebody who I have a tremendous amount of respect for what he's done in the sports industry, but I cannot tell you that I've never seen Stephen A. Smith dance around a situation. No, I have seen Stephen A. Smith dance. I have seen him tap. I have seen him jit. I have seen him twerk. I have seen him do a whole lot of dances, the nay-nay and everything else on certain issues. I still love the brother. Just because you disagree with people from time to time, you still love them. And I hope that's the way that y'all feel about me for the number of people that tune in to this show. It's not a lot of large numbers right now. I don't care. I don't care if it's only 40, 50 people that show up for every show. Just know that you're not going to always agree with me. You may not agree with me on this show. But we can still have love and respect for each other, and respect each other's opinion. And so Fox is allowing him to do that. So kudos to that. So this show is so big. I've spent too much time on this already, to be honest. But this show is so big, I cannot even take the time required to talk about this NFL stuff and national anthem and Colin Kaepernick and the whole situation. That deserves its own show. So what I am going to do for you today, for the 24/7 Sports live show dedicated, the loyalists, what I am going to do for you, I'm going to do my regular Monday show. We're going to talk about the NFL scores. You know we got to talk about the Golden Tate situation. I already posted a video, the rant from yesterday. We're going to talk about that and go over the scores and some NBA stuff. I'm going to do all that like I know you're going to do on Monday. But then immediately after that, I am going to record another show specifically dedicated to the national anthem stuff and what the actual solution is and where we're going with this. That deserves its own show, and I may have a special guest for that show. So let's get this out the way. Of course, this Monday we're going to talk about the NFL. Man, we had some surprises yesterday. First of all, when I saw that Jacksonville-Baltimore score, I hollered. I woke up and I saw that it was up 44. It was 44-0, I believe. I was like, oh my goodness. Did not expect that. The running game that Jacksonville has is legit. It has opened up the passing game. Fantastic game with the Rams and the 49ers. Rams win that game. Buffalo. This is why I don't bet on sports, okay? Because I believe on Friday, in terms of games that I said were sure things. First of all, I told you it was a tough week, but I said for sure that Denver was going to beat Buffalo, and look what happened. Buffalo beats Denver. So again, this is why you don't bet on sports. I thought the Cleveland Browns would beat the Colts. They didn't. The Colts won that game. I thought the Buccaneers, I would have been a broke joker yesterday. I thought the Bucs would beat the Vikings. That did not happen. I thought that Miami would beat the Jets. That did not happen. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Atlanta-Detroit score next. Philadelphia did squeak out a win against the Giants. I thought the Panthers would beat the Saints. The Saints got all up in the Panthers' grill yesterday. They won that. And then unbelievably, impossibly, I still can't believe what I'm seeing. Chicago beat Pittsburgh. Tennessee beat Seattle. Green Bay beat Cincinnati in overtime. I guess the Chiefs are for real. They beat the Chargers, and the Redskins beat Oklahoma. We got to come back to a couple games, okay? Number one, New England and the Texans. Bruh. Whoever doubted Tom Brady after that first week ought to be ashamed of themselves. And while I did not doubt him, I know better. I went to the university. I've been watching him since the University of Michigan, okay? My wife went to U of M. Okay? So I know Tom Brady better than Mo. I've seen Tom Brady come from the bench when Drew Henson was supposed to be the golden boy, the golden child, and Tom Brady was a nobody. Ever since then, when he led Michigan to a national championship, I have not doubted Tom Brady. But I can admit that I thought that, his skills were diminishing a bit. And truthfully, they still are. They are. They're diminishing a bit. But when you are the greatest quarterback of all time, even when your skills are diminishing, you can still put up some tremendous numbers. And Tom Brady, like he's done so many times, led the Patriots back with 20-something seconds left. Look at the numbers this man put up. 25 of 35, 378 yards, 5 touchdowns. He was sacked 5 times. Stop it. Tom Brady don't normally get sacked. He still put up numbers. Brandon Cooks was one of the best additions in the offseason. Then the Patriots did what they always do, picking up no-name receivers. Chris Hogan, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe Chris Hogan used to play for the Lions, and he was a part of their practice squad, and he was doing well in preseason. Just because the Lions got so many guys, they cut him. Well, he caught 2 touchdowns yesterday. Well, one of them was questionable, and I'm going to show you that. But, of course, we have to go to my home team and where I currently reside, Atlanta and Detroit. Now, you look at this picture right here. For those who commented on my rant from yesterday, who said, "Oh no, he was definitely down. He was definitely down." You look at this picture right here, and you tell me that he's down. Look, the knee is down, but look at where the ball is. The ball is across the plane. This is a touchdown if this was all we had to go off of. This is a touchdown. But this is not all we have to go off of. Why? Because I'm getting ready to tell you something, talk about something that nobody else has brought up. Even if his knee touched the ground, guess what? Is this not the NFL? Is this Clemson, Alabama, or is this the Falcons in Detroit? Oh, it is the NFL, right? Okay. You do know that in the NFL, when your knee is down, you're still not down. You forgot that, didn't you? Look at the hands of the Falcons. He's got 3 Falcons around him, and I paused it in this frame. Number 1, because he's over. Number 2, because he was not touched. And so even if Golden Tate caught the ball on his knees, this is the NFL. You have to touch a man down in order for him to be down. Therefore, as I have said, like I said yesterday, for those of y'all who was clowning, disliking the video, and all that, I've been watching sports my whole life, man. I've been watching football almost as long as I've been watching basketball. I know the game. This is a touchdown. He was not touched, but you all know what happened. So, to show just a little bit of the hypocrisy of the NFL, I want to take you to this picture right here. The aforementioned Chris Hogan. That's Chris Hogan right there. Okay? That is a Texans player. I can't tell who that is. All on Chris Hogan's back. You can see that the knee is clearly down. Okay? You can also see that the ball is nowhere near the end zone. You can see the shadow of the ball is on the 1-yard line. His hand hasn't even crossed the white of the goal line. Well, if you watched this game yesterday, you know that the referees went behind that hood and they said, what we're going to do, y'all, the screen says that this is not a touchdown, but it's Tom Brady. It's Tom Brady and the Patriots. What are we gonna do? Well, I think we ought to call it a touchdown. And that's what they did. This was a touchdown. It was reviewed, and on the review, they reviewed it as a touchdown. He is down. He is clearly being touched, and the ball is nowhere near there, and they called it a touchdown. But yet, Golden Tate, who is not down, who is not being touched, and the ball is across the white line. This is not a touchdown. But there's no conspiracy against Detroit, right? All you Atlanta Falcon fans out there. We won fair and square. Oh, really? Really? But I'm not tripping, man. I did trip yesterday, but I ought to know better as a Lions fan, as a Detroit fan. Unfortunately, I know better. I just don't understand why the NFL, in the years previous, the NBA likes to conspire against Detroit. I don't know what it is. I don't know where it comes from. I just don't know, man. But don't put proof in front of my face and tell me that I'm stupid. This is clearly a touchdown. In my rankings, in fact, if I was Jim Caldwell yesterday, I would have went in that Detroit locker room and I would have drew a 3-0 on the chalkboard and I would have walked out the room. That's what I would have did, because the Lions are 3-0. That's the way I'm looking at it. The Lions are 3-0. And the Falcons are 2-1, and the Falcons know what happened yesterday. And if we see you again, you know it's gonna be a ball game. Now, I didn't tell you Detroit was gonna win yesterday. I didn't tell you the Falcons were gonna win. I said it was gonna be a tough game. It was two top teams, and that's exactly what we had, and that's exactly what we got. So to be honest with you, of course I would take the official W, but I care just as much that the Lions not quit and that the Lions were competitive even after being down 17-3 and came back like they always do. I feel good about that. So I know when we get to the playoffs that's going to matter. But who's to say that the NFL won't do what they've been doing to the Lions in the playoffs for the past few years? But we ain't there yet. It's just the third game. And so we going to move on. But as you can clearly see in the NFL, this is a touchdown. But this is not. I can't deal with it. And in fact, we're going to move on. What's next? NBA stuff, man. Wow. We got a lot to talk about on the NBA. Of course, we already discussed the Carmelo Anthony trade. I already told you how I felt about the moves that the Thunder have been making. I thought that after the Paul George trade that the Thunder was the second best team in the Western Conference, and how I thought that was a great move. Now after that, after the Carmelo Anthony move, again, I think that makes the Thunder worse with Carmelo Anthony. If you're going to start Carmelo Anthony, I think that makes you worse. Now, I know for you Carmelo Anthony fans, that sounds crazy, but, Carmelo has a way of making you worse. But, at least they have another scorer. I believe in order for this to work, I believe Carmelo has to come off the bench. Now, whether they do that or not, whether Carmelo will allow his ego to do that or not, I don't know. But Carmelo would be a tremendous six man. He would be a tremendous guy off the bench. He might give you 14, 15 points off the bench. So, he needs to be in ISO. He's not a guy that likes to run a lot of plays. He don't set good screens. He's not a team player. I'm just keeping it real. He's a give me the ball, get out the way guy. And so I don't know how that's gonna work with, the alpha dog gonna have the ball. And Paul George is a guy that can play off the ball and will play off of runs. But is Carmelo Anthony gonna be content to stand out in the 3-point line and hoist up 3-pointers? And will he be efficient enough doing that? I don't think so. So I think the Thunder have almost went back to the Kevin Durant, James Harden days. And just like James Harden, we knew that he was capable of starting. It was better for the team when James Harden came off the bench. And that's what I think is going to have to happen. We will see how that goes. Dwayne Wade is a free agent. And it's possible that he can go to one of these 3 teams that we're looking at. He could go to Golden State. Why not? How come he can't go to Golden State on a minimum contract? He certainly could go to the Thunder. And he could go to Cleveland. So it's good to see what he does. Who do I think he would most benefit? If Carmelo Anthony wasn't on the Thunder, I would say Dwayne Wade would benefit more going to the Thunder. But with Carmelo being there, somebody's going to have to take a back seat. So I see Dwayne Wade benefiting a team like the Cavs more. Now, I see him benefiting the Detroit Pistons. He ain't going to come. But, he is a winner. Nobody talks about Dwayne Wade as being one of the top shooting guards of all time. Yes, he is. He is a winner. That's something Carmelo is not. He makes plays at the end of games. He makes defensive plays. He makes winning basketball plays. He makes shots at the end of games. He is a winner, much like, what's my man name? Andre Iguodala. He's just a winner, man. So, now, do we have bad knees? Yeah. Does he have the same explosion? No, but he can help somebody. But I think he'll probably benefit the Cavs more at this point. Of course, him and LeBron can get along. They're good friends, the whole nine, and all that. So, speaking of LeBron, just another reason why I love the brother, okay? I love this man. He is a hero. He is the epitome of what an athlete is supposed to be. Talking about the Donald Trump situation. How Donald Trump disinvited the Golden State Warriors, which is one of the stupidest things. I mean, it wasn't one of the stupidest things for him, but it just shows how much of a punk he is, because the Warriors had already decided that they weren't going. They had already decided that they weren't going. So you didn't need to disinvite anybody. But he wanted to put it out. Oh, I'm disinviting the Warrior. Okay, whatever. So LeBron, being the gentleman that he is, being the man that he is, I emphasize man, he goes and stands up for Steph Curry. He stands up for Steph Curry. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't even put 2 and 2 together. My wife had to put 2 and 2 together. She claimed that like she don't watch the sports, but she said, now wait a minute. Here's LeBron taking up Steph Curry when Steph Curry now was at the wedding making fun of LeBron. I was like, oh my goodness, you are so right. You are so right. And LeBron, this didn't even have nothing to do with him. He could have easily just faded out. Like, oh yeah, the president going off on Steph Curry and the Warriors, I'm just going to step away. But he didn't do that. Why? Because he's a real man. And Steph Curry is a boy. He's a boy. He's got a boyish mentality. That's what I mean when I say he's a boy. So LeBron, the man, took up for Steph, the boy, and Steph ought to give LeBron a call and pay him a little bit of gratitude. Hey, man, thanks for looking out for me, because Steph did not do the same thing for LeBron. Just goes to show you the kind of man that LeBron is. I respect him for that, man. So that's just another notch under his belt. Why I think, he is better than Michael Jordan. He is my number 2 all-time player. Kobe right now still number 1. I'm telling you, I am not a Kobe Bryant fan. I am not a Kobe Bryant fan. Never have been, but real respect, real. Kobe Bryant is a beast. He hit more game-winning shots than Jordan ever did. He did so much for the NBA. Jordan never scored 81. What he did in his final game was just like, come on, dude, you can't make stuff up. So I would still say, factoring everything, Kobe was a great defender and everything. Kobe is my number 1. Bron is my number 2. And I would probably have to say Kareem is number 3. So Jordan has to come, for me. This is my list, okay? You can say whatever. You can leave in the comments, oh, Jordan, greatest of all time. Jordan, go. Jordan, the best. Jordan, listen, I watched the man play more than probably any of you, okay? Most of y'all didn't even see Jordan playing a live game. I did. I was a Piston fan. I saw him more than I wanted to. And when I wasn't watching, I was sitting by the radio. Listen to George Blaha make the call. I know who Michael Jordan is. I know he is one of the greatest of all time. He's a great player. But there have been a lot of great players, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is better than Michael Jordan any day of the week. So I would have to put Jordan 4th, or, I'll probably put him 4th at this point. 4th or 5th, somewhere in there. But Kobe is that dude. LeBron is behind him. That's my list. You can put your list. Anyway, do we have anything else? I think that's going to be it for this particular segment. I told y'all now I'm getting ready to record. Have dedicated to this whole anthem protesting and what it's really about. And frankly, at this point, what is the solution? What are we kneeling for? Why should you continue to? How long is this thing going to keep going on? I'm going to talk about all that in the next show. Or I guess I do need to give a prediction. Dallas and Arizona. Wow. Well, Dallas has to win this game. There's no way. Dallas has to win this game. But as crazy as this week has been, I still can't believe that Buffalo beat them. I can't believe that, and I for damn sure can't believe that the Bears beat the Steelers. I did not see the game, so I need to go back and see that. But I'm gonna still say that the Cowboys beat the Cardinals tonight, and we'll come on tomorrow to talk about that. So anyway, it's been 24/7 Sports Live Show. I am your host, BSG. I appreciate y'all rocking with me today. And I am going to holler at y'all very quickly in the next video.